Today, we will delve into the fascinating topic of the science behind climate change and its global impact. The science behind climate change is both complex and sobering. While the issue is often reduced to a few talking points or political slogans, the reality is far more nuanced and far-reaching. At its core, climate change is the result of our own actions, the result of a global economy that is powered by the burning of fossil fuels, the clear-cutting of forests, and other activities that release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. The impact of these actions is felt in a wide range of ways. Rising temperatures are leading to more frequent and severe weather events, such as hurricanes, droughts, and wildfires. These events can devastate communities, leaving people homeless, without food or water, and without access to medical care. Climate change is also affecting the natural world in profound ways. The loss of biodiversity, the degradation of ecosystems, and the disappearance of important habitats and species are all signs of a planet in crisis. These changes can have ripple effects throughout the food chain, affecting everything from the availability of fresh water to the stability of the global economy. But the impact of climate change is not just about the environment, it's also about people. The most vulnerable communities in the world are often the ones who are hit the hardest by climate change, from the people who live in coastal areas that are threatened by rising sea levels, to the farmers who are struggling to feed their families in the face of drought and desertification. And yet, despite all of this evidence, there are still those who deny the existence or the significance of climate change. Some see it as a political issue rather than a scientific one, or they simply choose to ignore the evidence in favor of their own beliefs or interests. But the reality is that climate change is a global problem that demands a global response. It's a challenge that requires us to work together as a species, to put aside our differences and focus on finding solutions that can protect the planet and ensure a sustainable future for generations to come. The good news is that there are solutions out there. From renewable energy to sustainable agriculture, there are countless ways that we can reduce our impact on the planet and create a more just and equitable world. But to do so, we must first acknowledge the gravity of the problem and the need for action. We must be willing to listen to the voices of those who are most affected by climate change, and to work together to find solutions that can help us build a better future. Ultimately, the science behind climate change is a call to action, a reminder that we are all connected, and that our actions have consequences. By working together and embracing our shared responsibility to protect the planet, we can create a brighter future for ourselves and for all living beings. The stakes couldn't be higher when it comes to climate change. As the world continues to warm up, we are seeing the impacts of this crisis in every corner of the globe. For some, the impacts of climate change are already a daily reality. From the people who live in coastal areas that are threatened by rising sea levels, to the farmers who are struggling to feed their families in the face of drought and desertification, climate change is a matter of life and death. But even for those who are not directly affected by climate change, the impact of this crisis is undeniable. It's affecting the natural world in profound ways, from the loss of biodiversity to the degradation of ecosystems. And it's threatening the stability of the global economy, as the costs of climate change continue to rise. But there is also hope. Despite the enormity of the problem, there are countless people around the world who are working tirelessly to find solutions to the climate crisis. From activists who are fighting for policy change, to scientists who are developing new technologies to reduce our impact on the planet, there is no shortage of creativity and determination when it comes to addressing the challenge of climate change. And while there is still much work to be done, there are also signs of progress. Countries around the world are beginning to take action to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions, and more people are recognizing the urgency of this crisis, and the need for immediate action. Ultimately, the science behind climate change is a wake-up call, a reminder that we are all connected, and that our actions have consequences. It's a call to action, to work together as a global community to find solutions that can help us build a better, more just, and more sustainable future. By embracing our shared responsibility to protect the planet and to ensure a future for generations to come, we can create a world that is healthier, more vibrant, and more resilient. It's a world that is worth fighting for, and it's a world that we can build together.